Sencha versus Genmaicha is a comparison many people make, as these are two of the most popular green teas in Japan. In this video, we're going to compare Genmaicha versus Sencha to see what makes these two green teas similar and what makes them different. We're also going to go into a comparison of the benefits of Genmaicha versus Sencha to see which one might be a better choice for you. Before we get started, it would really mean a lot to us if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for future tea videos. We have hundreds of videos on all sorts of topics related to Japanese green tea, but for this episode, we're going to focus on Genmaicha and Sencha specifically. Without further ado, let's get started. First, we'll start with Sencha. Sencha is the most common type of green tea in Japan. It's made from the young tea sprouts that have been steamed, rolled, and dried. You will usually find the dry tea rolled into these tight needle shapes, which lock in the flavor until it's ready to be released all at once into a glorious green infusion. The flavor of Sencha tea tends to be on the sweeter side compared to other green teas, with a hint of this grassy flavor and a citrusy astringency. So what is Genmaicha then? Genmaicha is made by mixing tea leaves with pieces of toasted rice. This began as a way for people to stretch out their tea supplies to make them last longer, and now it's a popular Japanese green tea enjoyed by people all around the world. The pieces of toasted rice add this pleasant, sweet cereal note to the tea, which can be quite soothing both in the morning and in the evening. Now let's talk about the caffeine in Sencha versus Genmaicha. Sencha can have between 40 to 60 milligrams of caffeine per serving, and Genmaicha can have as little as 10 milligrams of caffeine per serving. The big difference in the caffeine of Sencha versus Genmaicha comes from the addition of the toasted rice. Because the toasted rice contains no caffeine, it reduces the overall caffeine content of the Genmaicha tea. This is one of the major differences between Genmaicha versus Sencha. How does the picking of Genmaicha versus Sencha influence the caffeine content? Another difference between Sencha versus Genmaicha has to do with the type of leaves that are used to produce the teas. Sencha is typically made from the younger leaves of the tea plant, while Genmaicha is made from the older tea leaves. These are the leaves used to make a tea like bancha. Not only do these older leaves have a milder flavor, but also a lower caffeine content. The tea plant produces caffeine as a defense mechanism to protect itself against insects. Because the younger leaves are more tender, they produce more caffeine. The older, more mature leaves are thicker, so they don't need as much protection. This is why teas made from the younger leaves like gyokuro, matcha, and sencha are high in caffeine, and teas made from older leaves like genmaicha, bancha, and hojicha are low in caffeine. Now let's do a benefits comparison of genmaicha and sencha. For this, we're going to look at three different aspects of the tea to see how they compare to one another. First, let's start with health benefits. When it comes to the overall nutrient profile of Sencha versus Genmaicha, Sencha may take the cake. Even though the older leaves may be higher in certain minerals, the younger leaves are higher in caffeine, theanine, and antioxidants. One thing worth noting is that if you are sensitive to caffeine, you may find that Genmaicha is a better fit for you, particularly later on in the day. Next, let's talk about the taste. The flavor of Sencha is more complex, with these notes of sweet corn, spring grass, and steamed vegetables. You may get a tiny hint of astringency with this tea, but it's well balanced out by the sweetness of the young sprouts. If you're a fan of these more warmer flavor profiles, you may prefer Genmaicha. The toasted rice in this tea gives the flavor some of these sweet cereal and caramel notes that can be quite pleasant. Finally, we come to price. When it comes to the price between Genmaicha versus Sencha, there's really no contest. Genmaicha is one of the most inexpensive types of Japanese green teas, and it can be as little as a third of the price of a premium Sencha. If you're interested in trying either Sencha or Genmaicha, you can find some great options on our website, neoteas.com. When you order tea from us, you're not only helping to support this channel, but also helping us to support the dozens of talented farmers we work with all around Japan. We believe that by sharing these farmers' stories and their teas with people all around the world, we can help to transition the tea industry into a more positive, sustainable direction. If you have any questions about Genmaicha or Sencha or green tea in general, please feel free to leave them in the comments below and we'll answer them as soon as we can. Again, it would really mean a lot to us if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can see more educational tea videos in the future. Until then, we'll see you next time.